Turning overseas, a wave of European legislatures recently passed resolutions supporting a Palestinian state, and at least one draft resolution at the UN are calling for timetables to end Israeli occupation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry today in Rome. Netanyahu reportedly said he would defy any UN move to dictate a time frame for withdrawal, and he expects the U.S. to exercise its Security Council veto against any such resolution. Maxine Dovere is a political analyst and correspondent for JNS, which is a nonprofit wire service that reports on Israel, the Middle East, and the Jewish diaspora, and she joins us here in our New York studio. Maxine, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Debbie.
So, of course, Netanyahu and Kerry, they should be BFFs by now because they've met so many times in the past year or so. What are the objectives for this meeting today?
I think the objectives are to assure Israel that the United States will continue to stand as partner, as ally, and not see Israel forced into a settlement without a negotiation, a settlement that would settle very great problems.
I'm asking you to speculate because you're here and you're not in Rome in that meeting, so you can't tell us definitively, but who would you imagine has the most leverage for arm twisting? Because there's some persuasion that's going to have to go on in this meeting.
Indeed there is. The idea of allowing a Hamastan in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank area, presents problems not only to Israel, which is the most direct target of that hatred and that anger and that danger, but it also creates problems for the United States. If the United States ally, Israel, is allowed to be so poorly handled and so poorly maneuvered, it puts a very dark color on any association with the United States. It makes trust a very questionable word.
And speaking of which, there have been a number of resolutions from countries. In Paris, there's a resolution to recognize the Palestinian statehood, a UN resolution coming up, and of course Israel has put pressure on the U.S. Not to support this. How much could this UN effort do damage to U.S.-Israel relations?
Look, this is a resolution with a 2 to 3 year time span. There are elections scheduled in Israel in March. There are elections scheduled in the United States in 2016. Both of those events precede the time date set on any active action on that resolution. The world is an open book in this case. One never knows who will come in within the Israeli political spectrum. One never knows who will come in within the American political firmament. A Republican administration will act in one way towards the situation. A Democratic administration would act in its way towards this administration. No surety lives at the moment. As it happens, I was in the area called Judea and Samaria this summer, just after we spoke on our last round. And to stand on a mountaintop in that contested area and see the line of sight that a negative missile, one aimed to do no good, and how easily such a line of sight could hit Tel Aviv, could hit Ben Gurion, could hit Amman.
I'm sure it was quite sobering.
Jordan is not so safe, and the king is not so safe in his position. Abdullah is married to a woman who is really a Palestinian. And in anyone's calculation, the next king of Jordan will be a Palestinian. But if there are groups that don't want that monarchy, there's lots of questions on the easterly side of that river as well.
It is always complex and very nuanced. We'll have to stop right there for now, but Maxine Dovere, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.